Okay, this is the Book of Enoch, the prophet. Before we begin, though, I want to have a couple disclaimers. The first is that Enoch, I do not believe that he believes in the separation of church and state. Now, that's not to say that he believes that the church should be over everything. At one point in here, he talks about the conductors of the sun, the moon, and the stars. And the people are supposed to be the stars. Because as you'll see, or as I believe, Enoch is a big freedom guy. And the religious leader, according to Enoch, I believe, is not supposed to micromanage the people. Like, he's just supposed to tell people what the law is. And the people are supposed to be the judiciary and the executor. So I'm just an intellectual. I'm just trying to interpret Enoch, and see what you guys think. I mean, maybe I'm totally off kilter here. The second disclaimer is this book it's a book of poetry, and Enoch is like this great, amazing writer. And I'm going to try to do the best I can. I'm not a voice actor. A very good voice actor could nail this book, because I was just blown away by it. With that, let us begin. Okay, I tried to do the introduction, but I just couldn't get through it. There's a poem by Charles Bukowski called "Don't Do It." When I first saw it, tears were streaming down my eyes. It's like this guy understood. Anyways, let us begin. The Book of Enoch, Chapter 1. The word of the blessing of Enoch, how he blessed the elect and the righteous, who were to exist in the time of trouble, rejecting all the wicked and ungodly. Okay, well, there's one thing that really strikes me in this sentence, and that's this word rejecting, right? Because blessed and rejecting are related to each other. You know, there's two parts to this sentence. Enoch is going to bless the good folk and reject the bad folk. But the problem is that the word blessing is usually related to the word curse, not the word reject. Now, this could be a bad translation, but I don't think so. More things to note about this is that words are just variables. They are completely meaningless until you put a meaning into them. So this word wicked, you cannot put your own meanings into this, especially with a man who wrote however long ago this man wrote. Wicked in his day is going to be completely different. But, I mean, if godliness to you and blessedness to you is cleanliness, then a stinky person would be wicked. In our day, the term morality is dominated by Puritans. And so when everybody thinks the word morality, they immediately conjure up, whatever meaning for this word wicked that they're going to conjure up. Words are just variables. And this is what Enoch is doing. This is a word game to him. So all of these, this is all undefined right now. We don't know what's going on. But if we take a step back in this, just look at the sentence as a whole, it seems to have a sense of justice to it. Right? But there's a problem with that. Because justice is usually disseminated by, mean faces, or stern faces, muscles, and weapons. But Enoch, right? This is a man of God, right? Not a militant man. Men of God outside of the movie are usually smiles and books and love, or so they present themselves. Um, but I mean, I think the first word of the sentence tells us how he's going to do it. It's with the word, right? He's just going to give us the word, right? I mean, this is Mesopotamian word worship stuff. Um, I mean, you have the God, I think, Marduk, right? He isn't he like he conquered with the word. This is what Enoch is saying that he is going to do. He is like this new Marduk. Um, or we shall see. Okay, Enoch, a righteous man, who was with God, answered and spoke, while his eyes were open, and while he saw a holy vision in the heavens. Okay, well, I mean, we talk about words just being variables, but like we look at this word God, and God is like one of the most vague words of all. Um, I mean, what do you mean by that? Like, again, we talked about the God of cleanliness. Um, Enoch, unless he's just a two-bit moral hack who, doesn't really mean anything, which is definitely could be the case. By it's just like it could like words can be just emotions, and not really express cognitive thought. um, but we want to see what Enoch believes when he talks about God. Right, so we're gonna put God right here, and right here it says that Enoch was with God and he answered and spoke. Now again, we're working with an English translation, so we don't know if these are the words. I mean, this is very important. But what I get from this, is it's not question and answer. Question and answer. I don't see that. Answered and spoke is more like a conversation, a back and a forth, right? Instead of dictation, right? So we have God, and God is a conversationalist of some caliber. Conversation. Right, this is the type of God that Enoch God can be more than one thing. He's not just conversation. So we need to figure out what other qualities the God of Enoch has. But another thing we need to point out is this that he saw, right? He's going to put in sight here. And his word is going to be powerful because Enoch is the man of sight. He can see properly, right? This is the traditional definition of humility. Humility does not mean meekness or weakness. Humility means to see properly, while pride means to not see. And so, I mean, this is kind of like Sun Tzu shit, right? Enoch is the man who can see, right? He is humble. So if we want to take an example of humility, we would look like maybe to Muhammad Ali. Now, Muhammad Ali went around, saying, "Hey, I'm the greatest. I'm the greatest." And as long as he wasn't ducking the top opponent, which I'm not saying he was, but theoretically, as long as they're not ducking the top opponent, the guy at the top is the greatest, right? So that's a humble statement. But it might look like arrogance, but it's still humility, and we're going to see this from Enoch a whole lot. Enoch is just so self-amazing. This the angels showed me. From them I heard all things and understood what I saw. So again, we have this word understanding here, right? Understanding is like mental sight, right? So Enoch is going to be a man of meditation, right? He's not going to be bothered by all of the little problems of the people. He's going to let them be free and shine like the stars in the sky, and he's just going to conduct them along the right path. I think that's what his vision of a holy man is. He is a man of understanding. That which will not take place in this generation, but in a generation which is to succeed at a distant period on account of the elect. Right, now he's talking about a time of trouble up here, right? So this is all happening in the time of trouble, right? But, I mean, let's play around with what he's saying, right? He's saying that in order for the wicked and ungodly to be rejected, all you need is good eyesight. So, therefore, that any time of pride, any time where people can't see properly, is a time of trouble. Therefore, I mean, this is kind of a hack prophecy right here, I mean, this all follows from what he's saying. This time, or this generation, which is to succeed at a distant period, could mean any generation. Like Enoch is playing with the word prophet, right? Now, I do believe that he actually has like real prophecy in here, but so far this is not it, because he could be talking about any time. This just follows from what he is saying. Upon their account I spoke and conversed with him who will go forth from his habitation, the holy and mighty one, the God of the world, who will hereafter tread upon Mount Sinai, appear with his host, and be manifested in the strength of his power from heaven. All shall be afraid, and the watchers be terrified. Great fear and trembling shall seize them, even to the ends of the earth. Okay, now let's get to this word watchers. Watchers is being referred to in a negative sense, it seems like here. But what is he other than a watcher? He's a self-described watcher, right? So these are the bad religious leaders, the watchers. Not necessarily any specific bad religious leaders, but right now we're just in the realm of general. We're in the world of prophecy. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Great fear and trembling shall seize them, even to the ends of the earth. The lofty mountains shall be troubled, the exalted hills depressed, melting like a honeycomb in the flame. The earth shall be emerged, and all things which are in it perish, while judgment shall come upon all, even upon all righteous. But to them shall he give peace. He shall preserve the elect, and towards them exercise clemency. Then shall all belong to God, be happy and blessed, and the splendor of the Godhead shall illuminate them. Behold, he comes with 10,000s of his saints to execute judgment upon them, and destroy the wicked, and reprove all the carnal, for everything which the sinful and ungodly have done and committed against him. All who are in the heavens know what is transacted there. Okay, so now we're entering a new part. This was kind of just like an introduction. Enoch is an extremely poetic man. But all of these words are going to have meaning. This is a book you can't read once. It's a word puzzle. So you have to figure out the meaning of all the words, and only then can you read it. So I claim that I can see, parts of this, and I'm trying to explain to you the parts that I can see. Let us go on. So, but here's a new part. All who are in heaven know what is transacted there, right? So he's challenging you. If you are in heaven, then you're going to know what's happening in what he's about to say, right? Because we're talking riddles, okay? We're talking word games. They know that the heavenly luminaries change not their paths, right? Resolute, that's what I hear. The luminaries are people who are admirable. People who are admirable are resolute, right? That each rises and sets regularly. I mean, maybe you guys can help me out with this one. Sounds kind of resolute to me, but faithful also, maybe. Resolute and faithful. That sounds kind of right, huh? See, I mean, here's what Enoch is doing. Many people who come into this come in with a scientific theological mindset. And a lot of what's happening here is moral philosophy. So there is a rationality and an understanding and logic to all of this, but it's hidden behind the poetry. And unless you can see the poetry, you're not going to be able to read this. And so the scientist is not going to be able to see the poetry. The poet is not going to be able to read the science. And so this is a way to hide knowledge. Everyone at its proper period without transgressing the commands which they have received. They behold the earth and understand what is transacted from the beginning to the end of it. They see that every work of God is invariable in the period of its appearance. They behold summer and winter, perceiving that the whole earth is full of water, and that the cloud, the dew, and the rain refresh it. Okay, so now we get an introduction into the words water, cloud, dew, and rain. They're going to be very important. They are definitely related to religious words. So rain is like from the heavens. Dew comes from the temple, and don't know. You guys help me figure this out. But you'll come to see this when we start to talk about the spirits. They consider and behold every tree, how it appears to wither, and every leaf to fall off, except of 14 trees which are not deciduous, which wait from the old to the appearance of the new leaf for 2 or 3 winters. They consider the days of summer, that the sun is upon it at its very beginning. While you seek for a covered and shady spot on account of the burning sun, while the earth is scorched up with a fervid heat, you become incapable of walking either upon the ground or upon the rocks in consequence of that heat. So what he's saying is hey, look at nature. Nature at one point in the summer it gets hot as fuck. And if you believe in a creator God, then God created it like that. So, I mean, he's saying that if you look at nature is telling us that we need to take siestas. Again, this is Enoch, right? This is not the grandson of Adam, the grandfather of Noah. Maybe it was. I could be wrong, but I'm thinking that this is some 40, 50 silly little Jew out of whenever. Like, we don't even know when he was, but I think he was before Christ. And after Moses and Samuel and all them. But since he's a follower of Moses, right? He's going to be arguing for rest, and we're going to see this throughout. Righteously, he's like, this is just a little, taste of what he believes about rest. They consider how the trees, when they put forth green leaves, become covered and produce fruit, understanding everything and knowing that he who lives forever does all these things for you. So I mean, there's I mean, there's thankfulness, there's work, but God is going to be coming up. He's going to be described as a maker, right? So the scientist is going to come in, and the theologian, he's going to come in, and he's going to start to, oh, God is the maker, and that means the existentialism and essence and being and blah blah blah, right? But no, that's not what's happening here, right? What's happening here is that Enoch is speaking more like a rap music man, like Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg, than he is like an Aristotelian asshole. So God is a maker. That means that we are supposed to be makers. So Enoch argues for a craftsman society, right? And this tree stuff. I mean, you guys can, like, I'm just throwing work out here. I mean, you got the produce fruit there, blah blah blah. It sounds good, but I don't see all of it. Like, what does the tree mean? Like, everything in here, green leaves, everything in here. Like you have to understand that in our day, you can crumple up a piece of paper and toss it into a wastebasket, and if you make it, everybody cheers, right? But if you go back into Enoch's time and you were to crumple up a piece of paper, then you'd get beaten to death by a bunch of scribes, right? Or they'd probably beat you and then stab you thousands of times with their writing instruments till you die. So you can't waste paper, right? So Enoch, if he's a good writer, which he is, like, all these words matter. Boom, where am I?